On the Oscars red carpet, burgundy isn't just a color, it's a statement of dominance. It sits right between red and black, carrying the drama of both, but with a deeper, more luxurious edge. From historic Oscar-winning looks to daring modern silhouettes that turned heads instantly, these dresses didn't just blend into the carpet, they owned it completely. In this video, we're counting down the top 12 best burgundy dresses at the Oscars. Marcia Gay Harden, 2001. When you're about to pull off one of the biggest upsets in Oscar history, you need a dress that screams winner. To accept her Best Supporting Actress trophy for Pollock, Marcia Gay Harden stepped out in a striking burgundy vermilion gown by Randolph Duke, the same designer who dressed the winner the year before. This wasn't just a dress, it was a sophisticated strapless masterclass in power color that perfectly balanced elegance with a bold, celebratory energy. The look was sleek and timeless, featuring a matching wrap that added a touch of classic Hollywood poise. But let's talk about the real stars of the show, the $3.5 million worth of Harry Winston diamonds. Marcia wasn't the only one dripping in ice. She actually shared the jewelry love with her mother and sister for the night. However, all that sparkle came with some serious drama. Marcia later revealed that the jewelry house gave her a strict ultimatum. Anything over $500,000 required a professional bodyguard. Naturally, she went for the millions, which led to a hilarious post-ceremony panic. Convinced she was being tailed by high-stakes jewel thieves, she eventually realized the attackers were actually just paparazzi who had mistaken her limo for Russell Crowe's. She walked away with the Oscar and the diamonds intact, proving that a deep burgundy gown is the ultimate lucky charm for a historic night. Keira Knightley, 2006. If you want to talk about a look that redefined modern Hollywood royalty, you have to talk about Keira Knightley in 2006. Nominated for Best Actress for Pride and Prejudice, Keira teamed up with stylist Rachel Zoe to deliver a moment that is still ranked as one of the best Oscar dresses of all time. She arrived in a custom Vera Wang gown in a breathtaking deep claret, a rich, moody burgundy that felt both edgy and incredibly sophisticated. The design was a masterclass in silhouette. Crafted from crisp silk taffeta, the gown featured a bold, asymmetrical one-shoulder strap and a dramatic fishtail skirt that erupted into tiered ruffles at the bottom. It was the perfect balance of architectural structure and feminine flair. To give the deep jewel tone an extra kick, she wore a vintage Bulgari statement necklace bursting with multicolored gemstones, proving that burgundy is the perfect canvas for high-wattage diamonds and gold. But the most iconic part of this dress happened after the red carpet. In a truly classy move, Keira donated the gown to Oxfam to raise money for the food crisis in East Africa. The dress was eventually auctioned on eBay for over £4,000, meaning this legendary piece of fashion history didn't just win over the critics, it actually helped save lives. It's rare to find a dress that looks that good and does that much good at the same time. Halle Berry, 2002. This isn't just a dress. It is a piece of cinematic and cultural history. When Halle Berry stepped onto the stage to become the first Black woman to win the Oscar for Best Actress, she did it in a burgundy Elie Saab gown that changed the fashion industry forever. Before this night, Elie Saab wasn't a household name, but the moment Halle appeared in this design, he became a global sensation overnight. The gown was a daring, artistic masterpiece. The top featured a sheer, nude mesh bodice that was strategically covered with intricate floral and leaf embroidery, giving the illusion of vines climbing her skin, a look Halle described as feeling open and free. This was anchored by a massive deep crimson silk taffeta skirt that featured dramatic, asymmetrical draping and a sweeping train. To keep the focus on the revolutionary design, Halle rocked her iconic pixie cut and kept her jewelry minimal. The impact of this look was so massive that the original gown is now permanently preserved in the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. And in a legendary full-circle moment, Halle actually re-wore the original dress, with zero alterations, on a runway in Riyadh in late 2024 to honor Elie Saab. It looked just as breathtaking 22 years later, proving that true style, like a historic win, never fades. Penélope Cruz, 2011. If you want to talk about a flaming red carpet moment, Penélope Cruz's 2011 appearance is the gold standard, supporting her husband, Javier Bardem, for his beautiful nomination. Penelope shut down the carpet in a custom Loren Scott gown that was pure high-octane glamour. What made this even more impressive? She hit the carpet looking absolutely radiant just weeks after giving birth. The design was a bodycon, floor-length tube silhouette that celebrated every curve, featuring a daring, plunging V-neckline. But the real magic was in the texture. The gown was heavily encrusted with vertical stripes of scarlet, burgundy, and orange sequins. Under the bright Hollywood lights, these colors blended together to create a shimmering flame effect that made her look like she was glowing from within. She kept the styling classic but high-end, pairing the fiery dress with Jimmy Choo platforms and a matching clutch. For the sparkle, she turned to Chopard, wearing massive statement earrings that perfectly framed her face. This dress was such a fan favorite that it was eventually auctioned at Christie's a decade later, selling for over $4,000. It remains one of the most memorable examples of how a deep burgundy red palette can bring that classic va-va-voom energy back to the Oscars. Jenna Dewan, 2018. For the 2018 Vanity Fair Oscar party, Jenna Dewan delivered a look that can only be described as modern-day vampire chic. She bypassed the traditional princess gown for something much more dangerous and daring, a custom burgundy red sheath gown by Pamela Roland. Crafted from a sleek stretch crepe, the dress fit like a second skin, proving that sometimes the most powerful statement is a perfectly tailored silhouette. The design was packed with high-drama details, starting with a low-cut strapless neckline and a dramatic thigh-high slit that showed off her gold casadei heels. To add a touch of sparkle, the edge of the slit was detailed with intricate, subtle beadwork that caught the light with every step. It was the perfect mix of retro glam and contemporary edge. Jenna's styling was the final touch that made this look legendary. She debuted a sharp, chin-length bob that kept the vibe clean and sophisticated, and she leaned into the monochromatic trend with a deep, wine-colored lipstick that matched the gown perfectly. Frosted with Hube diamond cluster earrings and Lorraine Schwartz jewels, Jenna proved that you don't need a massive ball gown to dominate the night. Just the right shade of burgundy and a whole lot of attitude. Elie Ratajkowski, 2018. For the 2018 Vanity Fair Oscar party, Elie Ratajkowski and designer Zac Posen teamed up to prove that velvet is the ultimate fabric for high-stakes glamour. Elie arrived in a custom Cabernet-colored velvet gown that was a masterclass in structural tailoring. The dress featured a curve-hugging mermaid silhouette and a plunging cowl neckline that perfectly balanced old Hollywood elegance with a modern, daring edge. The real wow factor of this dress was hidden in the architecture. Zac Posen built a Gone with the Wind style internal corset into the bodice to create that flawless, sculpted shape. But the drama didn't stop there. The back of the gown featured a sweeping, draped cape that followed her every move, giving the look a regal, superhero-like finish. Her stylist, Emma Morrison, actually drew inspiration from Halle Berry's legendary 2002 sheer dress, aiming for that same history-making impact. To keep the focus on the rich texture of the velvet, Elie kept her accessories intentionally simple. She carried a scarlet box clutch and wore classic Stuart Weitzman sandals. In a chic, DIY-inspired move, she actually did her own hair and makeup. She styled her hair in a loose side braid and finished it off with a matching red ribbon, creating a softened, romantic vibe that perfectly contrasted the structural intensity of the gown. It was a dark, moody, and incredibly luxurious win that proved burgundy velvet is always a good idea. Jane Fonda, 2020. Jane Fonda didn't just attend the 2020 Oscars. She used the stage to deliver a masterclass in sustainable glamour. Proving that true style is timeless, she chose to recycle a stunning scarlet-beaded Elie Saab couture gown that she had originally premiered 6 years earlier at the Cannes Film Festival. The floor-length, long-sleeved masterpiece was covered in intricate sequins and beadwork from the Fall 2013 collection, looking just as revolutionary the second time around. The most powerful accessory of the night wasn't a diamond, but the red coat she carried over her shoulder. This was the same coat Jane famously wore while being arrested during her Fire Drill Fridays climate protests, a piece she has declared is the final item of clothing she will ever buy. It was a bold, chic statement against fast fashion and a commitment to the planet. She further emphasized her message by wearing sustainable jewelry from Pomelato, specifically chosen for its use of ethically harvested gold and diamonds. Her tango earrings and iconica bangle, featuring earthy brown diamonds, sparkled against her newly debuted silver gray pixie cut, a striking departure from her signature blonde. To finish the look, she even used drugstore makeup to prove that red carpet royalty doesn't always need a luxury price tag. Jane Fonda didn't just look incredible. She proved that the most fashionable thing you can wear is your convictions. Xochitl Gomez, 2024. For the 2024 Oscars, Xochitl Gomez stepped away from her youthful Marvel vibes and leaned into full-throttle Hollywood glamour. She arrived in a striking Merlot burgundy gown by the Lebanese fashion house Heists, proving that deep wine tones are the ultimate coming-of-age color on the red carpet. The dress was a masterpiece of flowy chiffon, moving with a liquid-like grace that looked incredible under the theater lights. The architecture of the gown was both edgy and elegant. It featured an asymmetrical neckline and a complex crisscross bodice with strategic cutouts that gave the classic silhouette a modern twist. The most dramatic element, however, was the sheer cape that flowed from her back, trailing behind her like a royal streamer and ending in a sophisticated court train. It was a look that successfully balanced high fashion structure with an ethereal, airy feel. Xochitl kept the styling classic to let the rich Merlot color pop, opting for voluminous old Hollywood curls that perfectly framed her face. She accessorized with unique jewelry from Sheila B. Heatherly, adding just enough sparkle without distracting from the gown's intricate detailing. By choosing such a deep, mature shade of burgundy, Xochitl solidified her status as a red carpet rising star who knows exactly how to command a room. Grace Gummer, 2024. For the 2024 Oscars, Grace Gummer proved that burgundy and sequins are a match made in red carpet heaven. Arriving alongside her husband, Mark Ronson, Grace leaned into a sleek, custom Gucci look that was the epitome of effortless cool. Her floor-length, sequined, slip-style gown was a deep, vibrant burgundy that caught every flash of the paparazzi's cameras, creating a shimmering effect that felt both modern and timeless. The design featured a daring, plunging V-neckline and a thigh-high slit that added a punch of high-fashion drama to the sheath silhouette. But what really set this look apart were the sheer, long mesh sleeves. They added a delicate layer of texture against the heavily embroidered sequined body, softening the bold lines of the dress. To keep the look monochromatic and sharp, she paired the gown with coordinated red leather sandals. Her styling was all about highlighting the dress's architectural neckline. Grace's hair was swept into a sleek, pulled-back style, leaving plenty of room for her standout accessory, a long Art Deco-style silver necklace from Bryony Raymond. This vintage-inspired piece added a touch of old Hollywood to an otherwise very contemporary Gucci moment. It was a sophisticated, high-shine win that proved burgundy is the perfect color for making a statement without saying a word. Zoe Saldaña, 2025. History was made in more ways than one at the 2025 Oscars, when Zoe Saldaña stepped onto the stage to become the first American of Dominican origin to win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She did it in a look that was as monumental as her victory. She wore a custom Saint Laurent gown by Anthony Vaccarello that masterfully blended vintage boudoir elegance with high fashion edge. The gown's architecture was a total showstopper. The top featured a strapless, semi-sheer strass bustier, adorned with a shimmering diamond pattern of crystals and delicate black threading. This transitioned into a voluminous three-tiered wine red skirt crafted from washed double satin. The skirt featured distinct bubble hems on the first two tiers, a sophisticated nod to Y2K trends that felt entirely fresh and regal in this deep burgundy hue. To amp up the drama, Zoe paired the dress with sheer black opera-length mesh gloves, adding a touch of 1940s-inspired mystery. She topped off the look with a bold, chunky Cartier statement choker featuring an emerald panther design. With her hair styled in soft, old Hollywood waves and a historic speech in hand, Zoe didn't just win the night. She redefined what a modern Oscar legend looks like. This wine-red masterpiece is officially one for the history books. Elie Ratajkowski, 2026. For the 2026 Vanity Fair Oscar party, Elie Ratajkowski proved that the naked dress trend can still feel incredibly luxurious when executed in the right fabric. She arrived in a daring deep wine velvet gown by Connor Ives that pushed the boundaries of red carpet architecture. Styled by Danielle Goldberg, the look was a high-fashion tightrope walk, simultaneously minimal and explosive. The gown's design was a total 90s throwback, with a futuristic edge. It featured a dangerously low cowl neckline that grazed her sternum and dramatic torso cutouts along the ribcage, highlighting the dress's slinky, second-skin fit. The back was completely open, plunging even lower than the front and held together by nothing more than two delicate spaghetti straps. Despite the daring exposure, the weight of the luxe magenta tone velvet and the sleek column-style skirt gave the ensemble a grounded, regal feel. To keep the focus on the gown's intricate geometry, Elie opted for a warm and minimal beauty look. Her long brunette hair was kept simple in a middle part with subtle curls, while her makeup featured a sophisticated burgundy smoky eye and plum eyeliner to tie back to the rich wine tones of the velvet. Finished with a nude rose lip, it was a masterclass in how to do sultry with absolute sophistication. Elie Ratajkowski didn't just follow the trend, she owned it in one of the most textured, rich shades of the night. Mikey Madison, 2026. Returning to the Oscars stage as a presenter after her historic Best Actress win the previous year, Mikey Madison delivered one of the most talked-about looks of the 98th Academy Awards. She leaned into a sophisticated, vampy aesthetic with a custom blood-red Dior gown designed by Jonathan Anderson. Crafted from lush blood-red velvet, the dress featured a masterfully curved, structural bodice and elegant off-the-shoulder straps that perfectly balanced modern architecture with classic Hollywood drama. The gown was a triumph of texture. The deep wine-tone fabric was intricately dotted with 3D floral appliques, delicate petals that added a romantic, almost organic depth to the monochromatic look. One side of the gown was artistically bunched to create a high side slit, allowing for a perfect view of her burgundy Giuseppe Zanotti Lilibeth 105 inches sandals, which featured a sleek slingback and a 4-inch stiletto heel. As a house ambassador, Mikey completed the look with a high jewelry suite from Tiffany & Company. The centerpiece was a breathtaking platinum necklace set with over 6 carats of diamonds, which she paired with diamond drop earrings and a bold statement ring. With her hair styled in effortless waves, Mikey's 2026 appearance solidified her as a true fashion chameleon, transitioning from a rising star to a permanent fixture of red carpet royalty in a shade of burgundy that was impossible to ignore. So which burgundy moment completely stole the night for you? Was it the historic elegance of Halle Berry, the timeless sophistication of Keira Knightley, or the bold modern glamour of Zoe Saldaña? One thing is clear, burgundy isn't just a color, it's the ultimate symbol of confidence, power, and red carpet dominance. If you love this countdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more iconic fashion moments. And tell me in the comments, which color should we rank next? Maybe gold, champagne, or even black and white combinations? I'll see you in the next one.